seems to go back to AD carries that aren't loved by the other AD carries in the league.
It is a bit weird, and it's actually very annoying to play against, because you never know, okay, what should we ban something towards Genja? Does he just pick up Varus or Caitlyn and just do the same thing he would have done on Lucian anyhow? And that's the thing about Genja, you never know what he's gonna play or how he's gonna play.
On the other side, a Rise ban from SK Gaming towards Gambit. Now, this is not particularly a ban that we've been really seeing towards Gambit. In fact, Rise has not been banned at Gambit all the time, so this is obviously a little bit of insider knowledge that SK have.
Yeah, must have been scouting a little bit. Maybe they played against Gambit in scrims a week ago where there was a lot of Rise play from Gambit. Don't want to take any chances with it, therefore they feel like they have to ban it away. Also shows to me SK is very confident when going into this game here, and they know we can use this, we say, risky ban, which we don't even know if they want to play because we feel like there's pretty much everything is gone now.
Ziggs taken away as well by Gambit. Always an annoyance, especially in the hands of someone like Jesiz, who's done well on it in the past. And also, the final ban for SK will be Kayle. Now, we saw yesterday Darien running the Kayle in the top lane. We've already seen Kayle in the mid lane for Gambit. In fact, it was the Kayle in the mid lane for Nick the last time that Gambit beat SK.
So Gambit bans here with two mid laners, Nidalee and Ziggs, two of the champions Nick have played, and two of the champions he's really known for playing. Both banned away, of course, two mid champions as well. Maybe even the Rise could say 5 mid champions from SK Gaming over here. So we need to see if Gambit want to early pick a mid laner for Nick, or if they feel like he has enough in his champion pool. I mean, Yasuo is still open. Could be an option for both mid laners, of course.
Well, Jax is also still open here, and we're going to see that locked in as first choice for Gambit. Of course, we have already seen a couple of games on Jax for Darien, including the win against Fnatic in week 2 last week. But for SK Gaming, going to be locking in Lucian straight away, and also Lee Sin for the jungle for Svenskeren.
So got Lee Sin here. Many teams in Europe really favors Lee Sin as the #1 jungle pick, and also Lucian as the #1 in carry pick, so they can be very happy giving over the Jax. Can now pick Shyvana, can pick Trundle into the Jax here. Maybe even Renekton if they want to do some early pressure on the lane here with Lee Sin. We've seen it before from SK, where Freddy plays Renekton, triple Doran's Blade, Svenskeren comes up and they just camp the lane and shut down the top laner.
So for Gambit, do they lock in their AD carry here? Or will it be Caitlyn, a champion that's, as we said before, fell out of favor for most AD carries, except Genja, who still likes to bring onto the table. In fact, again, he picked up the Caitlyn against Fnatic in their win last week. See if that is going to be a choice for him. And also Lulu going to be taken by Gambit.
So Gambit here already with their first few picks, they're going to need some time to build up here. Caitlyn, of course, in the early game, the laning phase is very, very strong, but her mid game, that's where she really suffers, where she doesn't have the same amount of damage as a Lucian, and then she needs to get to the late game point where she starts getting the 4 or 5 items and can really start doing some damage. Of course, Jax wants to get 24s, Blade of the Ruin King before he can really start split pushing and become this monster. So Gambit here needs some time to build up the comp, and therefore we could see SK Gaming go very aggressive early on.
What are we going to see SK pick up here? Thresh will be locked in.
And that's one way to do it.
Incredibly strong lane, Lucian, Thresh, and also taking Renekton for the top lane here for Freddy 122. Of course, he did play the Renekton against Millennium. He's also played it a couple more times throughout this summer split as well.
And again, as I talked about before, SK Gaming, they love this Renekton Lee Sin comp, and they have so much early pressure, especially on the top side of the map. And you often actually see Svenskeren going to the enemy jungle because he knows Freddy will push the lane up, he will be able to come down and help me if something should happen early on here. And therefore, SK Gaming tries to start a few fights, and because they have Renekton, because they have Lee Sin, they will be stronger in the early game.
So what will Gambit then finish off with? Looking for a jungler and support pick. Gragas being a champion that we've been seeing for Edward in the support role. They were hovering over Fiora, which I doubt will be picked up. The Evelyn open here is a more likely choice with Lee Sin already gone for Diamond.
Very famous jungler for Diamondprox here. Really, really good Evelyn player. A lot of early game pressure, of course. We always talk about how you need to fix up your wards when you're against Evelyn. Either you need pink wards, so you need to ward in the enemy jungle on the camps, so you can actually see her cleared when she pops out of stealth. And of course the Gragas support here for Edward, which is a very, very strong pick. Was actually banned yesterday by Copenhagen Wolves. Didn't want to deal with it. So laning phase with this Caitlyn and this Gragas in the bot lane here, Gambit are looking very, very strong.
If I remember back SK Gaming suffered in that bottom lane the last time they played against Gambit. The damage coming out of Edward and Genja in that one was a problem for them. Final pick for SK Gaming was Orianna for the mid lane from Jesiz.
I like this because you want some late game scaling as well, where Orianna fits in perfectly. When you have Renekton and you send these early game power champions who won't scale well into the late game, you need something else. Of course, Jesiz now with Orianna in his mid lane here. Very strong team fight comeback from SK, but they can also look for some early pressure with this Renekton here, and they have to do it because if they let Jax farm and get to his late game point, then he will be able to beat Renekton and just split push all day long.
Scary times if Jax gets going. But guys, now that the players have selected their teams, who do you think has a better composition? Send a tweet to @LOLesports with the hashtag GMBWin or the hashtag SKWin, and we'll check out the results shortly. See if those votes have swung a little bit more in favor over to Gambit. Getting themselves, for example, that Jax in the top lane, which, although we talk about Darien dying quite a few times, in fact, the first time he played Jax, he died 9 times in one game.
Yeah.
He's still a Jax, and if he gets going and gets late enough into the game, he's always going to be a threat.
And Darien, he normally doesn't even care about dying as long as he can get some farm. So he should be able to get to the point where he gets the Blade, gets the Trinity Force, and then a Randuin's Omen, and can really start to duel Renekton and just actually destroy him. And then, of course, we need to look at the mid lane as well. Jesiz on Orianna against the Lulu should actually favor Jesiz early on.
Well, we're going to find out exactly which way this game goes as Gambit take on SK Gaming for the second time here in the summer split. Will SK be able to bring the head-to-head back to 1-1 here? Gambit recorded their first win of the season against SK. We'll see if they can do that for a second time as we move into the early stages.
So early on here, no extra wards from any of the supports. Sometimes when it's
ward going down there, that was placed by nRated. And there's a vote actually really swinging here back in favor of Gambit.
Well, again, we talked about how Gambit's combo, if they get to this late game point, is very, very strong. And we talked about how the bottom lane early in the laning phase also can be very, very strong. So there's definitely good tools here for Gambit. Of course, also Nick on Lulu. Just an overall very, very strong pick, and also works in all stages of the game because you bring so much utility, and also your damage is actually okay, even also in the late game points.
What are Gambit planning here? Diamond has done a little bit of scouting out by the Pride Bush. They did spot the ward. Okay. So scanning in from that one.
No.
SK going to be spotted here.
They used the sweeping lane simply to try and deactivate the ward and then just move past it here, but SK actually managed to spot them anyhow and just backed away from this one. It's a bit of a weird level 1 here. SK just staying down this bottom lane. So Gambit knows, at least, they're going to get standard lanes. They can take the blue buff now. Of course, Svenskeren can run from his red buff to the enemy blue as soon as he's done here, and therefore just trade buff for buff.
Trade coming in, however, that's going to leave Darien. Actually, he's going to be teleporting early on up towards his top lane, so he's going to be going straight against Freddy. A bit of a fearsome Renekton player, and these early levels could be somewhat of a trouble for Darien, although
good trade.
Starting off aggressive and indeed having a good trade there.
A very good trade, and we need to see with Svenskeren here if he wants to put a lot of focus on shutting down Darien up in his top lane, or they feel like Freddy can do it by himself, and therefore Svenskeren can help the other lanes. He can set up with a lance and gank from nRated onto very aggressive Gragas down here in his bottom lane, because normally Edward, he really goes forward for these trades, and therefore they can land a hook. Svenskeren can come in for the gank.
Freddy actually hitting level 2 a little quicker there than Darien, but couldn't return too much of the damage into is already going to be stunned up. That's good damage back from Genja, and nRated trying to keep the distance between them, but Diamond now moving on towards that middle lane. Jesiz not got much mana to work with. There's the slow coming down. Jesiz is going to have to flash over the wall. Diamond going to follow in. This is first blood coming in. And again, we see the danger of the Evelyn.
Yeah, and great little lance from Nick actually landing onto Jesiz. Diamond, he moved all the way around him, was unspotted and just popped out as soon as the slow landed. Easy pick up here. Flash was used, but still, first spot and of course an assist over to Nick as well.
Start for Gambit. That means that they can hold Svenskeren in position here as well, because he needs to do a bit of defensive work on that middle lane, which means he's not going to be visiting anywhere else in the next couple of moments. But this bottom lane, already good damage, mainly from Gambit coming out onto SK.
Yeah, but up in the top lane here, Freddy pushed Darien all the way down to the tower, so now Diamond actually is moving up towards him here. Freddy needs to be careful, because once done from Darien, then Diamond with double buff can go onto him.
Freddy is really deep on this level 4 Flash, of course, is available. Darien going to take a lot of damage there. There's a slice and dice and an instant flash from Freddy to get back and away from Diamond. You don't want to get that Eve going so fast with a couple of early kills.
No, but a very, very good start in Gambit. Should also force the teleport now from Freddy because they pushed the wave into the tower, so he needs to teleport back. Svenskeren, though, down his bottom lane. Look for the Lantern.
There is the Lantern coming in. Flash as well. They managed to lock up Genja. He's going to flash away. The hook misses, but it doesn't matter. SK following through, and Svenskeren gets a kill back.
Great early start here for both junglers. Svenskeren knew how aggressive the Gambit bot lane were playing. Move down. Lantern. Beautiful flash from nRated as well. Let's just see it once more. There. Flashes with the Lantern, so Svenskeren comes the entire way into Genja and just moves after him here. Nothing Genja can do at this point here. Once the flash play hits, you're dead.
We saw the ward being used, and Svenskeren really showing his mastery of Lee Sin there to keep stuck on for the kill onto Genja. Diamond, meanwhile, is now back on this bottom side. A little bit late for him to be joining in, since Svenskeren already creating that kill. This mid lane, of course, did see first blood as Jesiz went down. However, he is farming slightly better right now than Nick.
Just farming away for now. Should actually be slightly behind in XP though, but actually got the level here because, of course, the minions as well, when Nick didn't actually get the first blood. So for now, still fairly even here, farming away. Diamond once again is nearby, and Nick, of course, got his level 5 just as the camera moved away.
Having a run through, and Diamond now on the counter jungle, possibly? No, just wanting to get himself a ward down there, and they know that there's a pink ward actually in the brush. That's just been pinged up on the top side of the map. They'll have seen Svenskeren now coming over the wall, and Diamond is going to come through to see if he can sneak it away, and he does manage to smite away that big raid. Nicely done.
Very smart play here. The blue buff is actually not cleared, and hook onto Genja.
But Edward moving forward from this one, going to body slam into the both of them, and a bit of damage will go back the way of SK, but certainly a good trade out of Candy Panda and nRated. Edward's playing this one very, very aggressively. Flay coming out. Edward's going to have to back away. Good damage back over the Piltover Peacemaker from Genja, and that again will just be damage thrown from either side.
And this is really the way Edward plays this Gragas, and why so many people don't want to play against it, because it's just in your face over and over. Lands the body slam, lands his barrel here, and just trades with you as many times as possible. So unless your jungler is there, it's hard to trade back, and it's what we just saw down this bottom lane here.
Svenskeren just going through onto that Wraith camp. Actually will be spotted here. Diamond coming around. There's a pink ward inside of that brush, so they know that Svenskeren is actually hanging around, and he needs to be careful. There's Diamond just popping up and showing Svenskeren that he's not alone in the Gambit jungle.
And while we were looking at the fight down the bottom lane before, Diamond actually moved in to clear out the blue buff from Gambit, so it's very, very late. It's going to spawn about the 10-11 minute mark. So SK Gaming, I don't think they had any wards there, so didn't see him actually cleared, so they won't know. It means though Nick should get a delayed blue buff where Jesiz can pick up the one that spawns at around 7 minutes.
And with their spotting a pink ward put down by SK, but needs to be a little bit careful. Nice little sidestep.
Oh, nice.
Sidesteps the hook as well.
He can dance.
nRated not doing the best he could have possibly done there, but props to Edward for dodging both of those skill shots.
Yeah, very, very nice play here. Diamond was nearby in case something should have happened. Gambit for now though, just looking to push it out. Svenskeren again, want to set up this blue buff here. Let's see if Diamond wants to try and smite steal it.
Well, he is moving in now. However, Jesiz will be around. He's got no vision inside of the brush, which is a real problem for him to be spotted before he gets close enough. Can't smite it away anyway, and that will be blue going over to Jesiz.
So now blue buff onto Orianna versus their Lulu without the blue buff for at least a few minutes here. Is where Jesiz needs to put a lot of pressure on the lane, and also we might see Svenskeren coming in to try and set up a gank or a counter gank if they expect Diamond to come in and try and shut down Jesiz.
So Freddy's come back into that top lane now, just using his teleport to get there. Double Doran's played for the both of them, but Giant Spell on one side for Freddy, and the Chain Vest on the other. And Freddy popping his ultimate here, trying to get a bit of damage down onto Darien. Didn't really achieve what he was looking for there, I think.
No, and Darien actually done a pretty good job farming up here. Of course, Renekton, you expect to lose early game, and you of course expect the other team to put a lot of pressure onto your Jax. Actually still managed to do fairly well in farm. There's quite a lot he can pick up under the tower now, where Freddy is trying to pressure him. Also, of course, due to the gank from Diamond coming up there, forcing the flash from Freddy, so he needs to be a little bit more careful.
So Svenskeren now going to come back into a lane. However, that's going to be
smart,
possibly fruitless for them, because Darien is miles away. He backed away to do his white.
No, Freddy actually doesn't have his ulti, so it's going to be a bit risky for them to dive onto him, but they're going to push down the wave. Svenskeren actually, because Darien just walked away from the lane, as you just said, backed away though. But They want to put a lot of pressure on him. They really want to try and get a few kills onto Freddy so he can just become a beast into the mid-game.
Currently farming up with about 20 CS advantage over Darien, as you said, expected at this stage of things. Between the AD carries, still very level with Candy Panda having a slight lead, but look at this. Svenskeren once again going to be coming down. There's a lantern. They try and get in, but nRated here needs to land the hook, and he does land it on towards Edward. Edward's ultimate goes completely the wrong direction. The culling coming through will be tanked up by the rest of the team. That was so close. As Jesiz and Nick now having a bit of an altercation here, but Nick will be able to get back into his brush into safety.
And the play from nRated actually missed this time here, so Svenskeren just jumped in. Nobody was nearby, and then Edward, I'm not sure if he hates Diamond or something, just threw his ultimate towards him in the face, missed everyone, but of course misplays happen. Now SK trying to at least start the Baron here, trying to bait out if there's any wards from Gambit's side.
They see the one, however there is another one which is giving Gambit full vision over this dragon. The question is then, Diamond will risk moving around. He is going to come from the side. Genja has actually stuck back in lane. Do have vision of how low that dragon is, but nRated is basically zoning him out of that one, and SK will smite it down. That's the first dragon of the game going to them.
Yeah, so with Edward back in base, and of course Nick took a lot of damage in the trade with Jesiz as well, SK knew they could start it up here. There could only be 2 members from Gambit to try and stop them, so they felt very confident. Of course, both top laners didn't have teleport either, so it was actually just a 2v4 for SK Gaming here. So very good move. Started by the gank, of course, from Svenskeren in the bot lane. Gave them a dragon.
Puts them in the lead in gold as well. About 1200 is the lead currently for SK Gaming, as Edward, with that pink ward from earlier that lost them a little bit of vision in the death brush, he'll just move up there and take that one out for free without anyone from SK trying to really stop him do that. This mid lane, the lead that Jesiz had earlier on in CS continues. Again, about a 10 CS lead for him. Top lane remains about 20 as well. So overall things stay in as they were a few minutes ago.
Yeah, and of course we need to remember again, Darien and Genja here in the mid game won't be able to do too much, where of course the Renekton and now Orianna, when she gets all the farm here in the lane, can become a very strong team fighting force for SK Gaming. Of course the Lucian as well, the AD carry here. So we need to see if SK wants to try and force something once we hit about the 20-minute mark. Want to try and set up a team fight and they win it, and then try and snowball the game. Freddy though, he needs to be very careful.
Or not. Walks away from that one.
True.
Yeah, 2 Gambit players just going to head back
Better
up
safe than
into
sorry.
the lane and the jungle indeed. This bottom lane, that continues to be very level, as well as the hook's going to land on towards Edward. Here is Svenskeren moving in. He's landed the Q, so the barrel won't make a difference. And Svenskeren will take down Edward. Svenskeren making the plays once again here for SK.
And it's in the bottom lane again, because they get the lantern from nRated. They know Edward is very aggressive. And notice the way Svenskeren actually played this gank here. As soon as he landed the Q, he just waited back. He was waiting for the barrel from Edward. And then he jumped in as soon as it was used, so he didn't get hit by it, didn't get knocked too far away. Jumped in there, got the kill as well. So beautiful play once again by Svenskeren.
Both kills for SK with Svenskeren, both of them happening down in this bottom lane. Will that mean a turret here for Gambit? For SK Gaming. Gambit are trying to come over and protect this one. And actually, this is some good damage on towards nRated. Wild Growth is going to get popped in there, which will knock nRated up, and Nick will take that kill. A little bit too far up the lane, caught napping there somewhat, SK.
Yeah, should be able to get the mid tower though, so should be worth it here for SK Gaming. There's Nick on your screen, and now mid tower will be going down. SK Gaming actually really good response here.
Nice turret pick up for them, 2,000 gold as things settle down, and we're about to hit that 13-minute mark. Meanwhile, Darien and Freddy again knocking each other down to about half HP, as Genja coming onto Candy Panda is going to get a lot of damage his way. Is he going to flash? No, he does have flash available, but decided not to follow through.
No ult onto Genji here. He used it before in the gank onto nRated. If he had it here, could actually have killed Candy Panda. No heal, of course.
Pink ward, though, will go down. So that's a bonus for Genja, if nothing else. 30 gold he takes from that, and Blue Buffs spawning in again. And again, of course, they will be given over to the mid lane. Jesiz gets the first one. Nick already having his blue buff on there. Genja continuing to pressure here down bottom. As soon as nRated gets back into lane, down to half HP almost instantly.
Always doing a very good job in lane here with, of course, Caitlyn and Gragas. And this is even with all the gangs from SK Gaming onto this bottom lane. They still keep the pressure going. Of course, Genji as well ahead in farm actually compared to Candy Panda.
With that wave pushing up, that's going to signal a recall for Gambit. Already BF sorting for Genja. What's he going to come back with? Looks like he's moving straight up to the standard Bloodthirster start here for Caitlyn, after picking up that Vamp Scepter as well. Other items to come in, both mid laners with Athene's Unholy Grail. Freddy, however, in the top laners finishes Tiamat.
Yeah, so Tiamat for him, Cutlass over on the side of Darien. He has a both going for the standard 1 damage item in the start here, and then of course with Darien building some armor early on against Renekton. Will delay his 24s, but he's gonna go for it later on the Jax, where Freddy most likely will just stick to either the Tiamat or the Hydra.
SK pushing down and taking that second turret away, and Darien here hiding in the brush from Freddy, and Freddy's like, I thought you'd recall, but obviously not. Stun coming down, he walks out of range of the counter-strike, and not really too much happening on that position.
And Svenskeren staying around here, wanna maybe try and get a few D-wards out. Gang on to Nick, of course. There's no tower, remember. Diamond is behind though.
It's gonna be real bad for Jesiz. There's a shockwave coming in. Jesiz somehow still alive at the back, will actually flash away. He's gonna have to need to head south on that one. Svenskeren is gonna do a lot of damage, actually picking himself up a kill, and he wants to have a go at Nick from this one. He's flashing in there, the Q lands as well, and Svenskeren chasing him all day with the help of that red buff. There's not much he can do to get away. All of a sudden, Candy Panda appears, but Svenskeren gets his 4th kill of the match.
Double kill for him. Very, very strong fight by him and Jesiz, knowing they were stronger than Diamond and Nick at this point here. Pick up 2 kills, now pushing down with all 4 members to this mid tower.
Not sure how they can really defend this one. Edward's got his ultimate, but that's all he's going to have here, and he does throw the ultimate out. That will knock them back for about 3 seconds until the next wave comes in. He also needs to be a little bit careful as he sidesteps the hook. There is a push from Svenskeren,
nice,
trying to kick him out, but Edward body slams in there. They get the turret, but they get the shutdown on Svenskeren.
Completely denied the kick there from Svenskeren. As soon as he jumped behind him, he just body slammed into him, stopped him from kicking him. Nothing Svenskeren could do after he actually dashed in. An easy kill for Gambit. Nice, nice, nice play by Edward.
Did give him that
triple
turret.
Nice play.
Triple nice play. Did give him a 3rd turret of the game, but
true.
Shutdown gold as well will definitely be coming in handy for Gambit. However, it's all about Dragon now. That's been spawned in for a little while. Gambit already
here
in position for it. Freddy's walking down, he's got no TP. Darien has no TP, so top laners not going to be too involved in this one. We'll see if SK can actually push back. The lantern is thrown down. They need Svenskeren to get in there to have a chance at actually taking this Dragon. Well, there's the pressure. Edward going to go low. The culling coming through. Not quite got the range, but Nick also being caught out, and they bullied him off. There's a shockwave. Wild Growth comes out last second, but nRated with the flay will take down Nick. It's Svenskeren, funnily enough, that got another kill, and they get the Dragon. Power play from SK there.
A very, very strong play. Again, Freddy moved way in advance of Darien here, so he was going to join in. SK knew they could actually start the fight. He would join in later on here, and Gambit just had to run away. Didn't even manage to finish the Dragon. Got 1 kill, got the Dragon as well. So SK Gaming looking very, very strong so far.
5 kills, all with Svenskeren. Not sure Diamond wants his fight, to be honest.
Well,
there's the kick away, and the Q is going to land. The stun goes down, but he follows through. Shield of the ultimate, will it be enough? Yes, they managed to take out Svenskeren, but Freddy had come down, and they trade 1 for 1, but the blue buff here is going to go SK's way.
Yeah, blue buff over to Jesiz again. He can just continue now to push down the lanes and deny a more farm from Nick, who's already behind here. So SK Gaming, very aggressive play once again. Svenskeren didn't even have any wards around, just jumped straight into the blue buff. Diamond showed up, Darien was there as well. Trade 1 for 1, of course the blue buff. And now red buff as well over to Freddy actually, so very good for him to try and shut down Darien.
Could be a danger as Eddie's going to face check. There's no one there with him. Genja was pushing the wave out. There's a barrel coming in. Edward actually doing a good job. They do some good damage to nRated. It's Candy Panda. He's going to just take the ultimate out of Genja and try and equal up a little bit of that damage, and I thought Eddie was done for there.
This is one tanky Gragas. You just see him tanking both members, all the damage, shoot someone into Genja, he does some damage, got exhausted actually there, and everyone managed to back away, but both supports actually took equal amount of damage. Now Svenskeren, of course, down this bottom lane. Diamond as well though.
Diamond in the right place at the right
Edward's
time.
pretty tanky here, he can go in.
Will they actually be forced into this one? nRated's going to be the first target. There is Svenskeren. They kick Diamond in. Not in range of the turret though. Damage is coming back. Is it enough? Yes, it is. They may get Edward as well from this one. Svenskeren, the one that's chasing. They've got vision in the brush, and there is the kill. It's a double for Candy Panda.
And every single time Svenskeren and Diamond has been the same place, it would always go in favor of SK Gaming here. They actually spot him as soon as they go in for the fight. And Diamond, he keeps chasing. He didn't back away, try and disengage from it, land a slow from it or something, and then back away as a team for Gambit. They just keep going forward, and then it's too easy for SK to just turn it around. There's so much damage onto Svenskeren. He's such a high level at this point, and also so very, very strong. And of course as well, with Candy Panda and Lucian doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, looking very good so far. Almost 20 minutes into the game. Not a single turret going Gambit's way, and I don't even think they've got much damage on any of the turrets either for 20 minutes of this match, and the gold with that is obviously over by SK at this point. A solid lead that they've built themselves up at the start of this match as they look to bring the head-to-head between these two teams back to 1-1 after losing a little bit earlier on in the season to Gambit, but so far so good for SK.
And 100% kill participation on this Lee Sin for SK Gaming. Svenskeren just been everywhere on the map. Whenever there's action, he was going to be there and start something. Of course, 5 kills onto him as well. So he's going to be very, very tanky early on in this game.
So I have to ask you then, we talked earlier on about Gambit needing some time to ramp up on this one for Genja to get out of that sticky mid-game phase with Caitlyn. How hard is it going to be to come back from the position that they're in now?
Well, of course, it's going to be very hard, but at least with the wave clear on Genja and Nick here, they can try and just hold off SK for as long as possible and wait for Darien, first of all, to build up, get his 2 damage items so he can start killing Freddy and therefore put some pressure on SK Gaming now, where actually you force them to group up as 5 instead, or move multiple members up to try and kill Darien, and therefore buy more time for Genja to farm here in this mid lane or bottom lane, wherever he's farming away. For now though, they just need to be very careful which fights they actually choose, because if they get in a straight up 5v5, with this far behind, with the champions as well, they're gonna lose straight up.
And there's another big fight. All possible good night for Gambit. We'll have to see about that as Darien gonna have a go at Freddy. Freddy just getting away from the counter strike. I'm not sure how scared he is of Darien at this point, especially with that red buff still running for him. However, they were mostly looking for a pick onto Gambit inside of Gambit's own jungle, which didn't quite appear for them. Gambit had already started to clear the wards out a little bit earlier on. Let's not forget also that there's no inner turret left in that mid lane after the push earlier by SK, so nothing really up for grabs there. It's too early in the game probably to be thinking about that inhibitor turret, so this bottom lane inner turret is definitely a juicy target for them, as Jesiz going to get caught out here by Diamond. This is bad news. Wild Growth comes in very early. Shockwave throw through. Here comes Svenskeren. Lands a Q onto Diamond. He's going to follow him. Kicks him back as well. Diamond failed. Flashes against the wall. And this is another kill for SK Gaming. It goes again over to Svenskeren as Darien is going to jump away. nRated flashes in. Completely misses the play though. And this might mean the death of him as well. Eddie moving in. nRated bounces around as he drops the box. But he'll fall to Darien.
And Freddy, he didn't even join in for the fight here. He's pushing this top tower here. Svenskeren though, once again, he's there. He lands the kick flash actually onto Diamond, just instantly kicks him back here, gets the kill, and then of course Darien joins in. nRated, a little bit too aggressive, flashing in there, actually end up dying for it, so they trade 1 for 1. But we did see Gambit try and do what they actually can do now. They were wave clearing in the mid lane and the bottom lane, just having Darien do his thing up in his top lane here, and then trying to catch out someone from SK here. Just went a little bit too deep with it.
A little bit of a comedy of errors there, sorry. Fail flash or 2, the flay completely missing as well. I have to wonder if those weren't missed, let's say, how that fight would have looked by the end of it. Either way, SK still hold that gold lead, close to 7,000 gold it is now. There's a blue buff that won't be contested this time around by SK. However, the Dragon is coming up in just a couple of seconds. SK are already on it. Yeah,
Diamond is very, very far away. The rest of Gambit don't even want to try and steal this one away wisely enough. Don't want to get into any big team fights here, so just have to give over the Dragon and just keep farming in these lanes here. We're just waiting for him to build up more and more.
Dragon's gonna go over.
Side stone on Darien.
Yeah. He also needs to jump towards.
Well, yes, you can use it to escape. You can say they need more vision because they are behind, but still, you're just delaying your Trinity Force even longer now. I mean, you are the person who needs to pretty much win the game for Gambit, because you have to just become a monster. You have to win the split push, so SK can just group up and just push down by themselves without even thinking about the Jack. So by delaying your Trinity Force even longer now, I don't agree with it.
See if it comes in handy for them. Is over 200 CSs here, Darien. Also sat at 2-0-0. Svenskeren comes around the side to help Freddy, but Darien already had rushed back behind the safety of that tower, letting the minions come as far up the lane as he possibly can right now. Wants to stay safe. Doesn't want to be giving any deaths up, especially to someone like Svenskeren, who's just flying ahead at 6-2-3.
And he did actually ward quite a lot already, putting up 3 around the Baron here. Not sure if he put all of them, but at least he saw put 2 of them from Darien here. So he's actually expecting to get further up in the lane so he can start pushing and then spot if someone moves up the river to gank him. But for now, Freddy's just keeping him this far down, so the wards will only try and spot if SK goes for the Baron.
On the other side, though, of the map, we see both teams gathering up somewhat, and I say both teams, it's mainly Gambit that are just moving out, trying to get some control back of their own jungle. Losing that inner turret in the mid lane is such a disadvantage when it comes to keeping a hold onto your jungle, makes it so much more dangerous to actually go in there. And we see again, Svenskeren is waiting around that red buff inside of its pit. Svenskeren is actually going to spot it, but he's going to be spotted up the side. Will he go down? Ace in the hole comes through, but Diamond turned around on completely. Here comes the ball from Orianna. Freddy has TP'd in as well. His ultimate is running. He's got the stun onto one. Darien's going to get finished off by nRated, and the rest of the team can keep chasing here. They need to land one skill shot. They're not going to get that, but they're probably going to have a tower.
And Gambit, I'm not sure why they were looking for a fight here, trying once again to just start something in the jungle. Go straight up against 5 versus 5 against SK Gaming when they're so far behind. You don't have to do it, just try and farm, stay back and wait for SK to either dive onto you, then you can take the fight, or wait for someone from SK to be out of position, punish them, get the kill. Don't go straight into them and just pick a fight here, because they are clearly so much stronger than you at the moment.
See Freddy with that Ravenous Hydra as well completed, and there we see that team fight once again. Diamond going down so quick.
Yeah, he's dead instantly, of course. He can't do anything, especially also with how far behind he is compared to Svenskeren at this point. And then Darien teleports in. The rest of Gambit is already backed away because Freddy joined in, chased 2 of them, and Edward couldn't actually do anything other than what he did in this fight here. So Darien basically just teleports into his death.
Looks like they might get the first turret of the game though here, Gambit. Genja has gone alone onto that top lane, and he will take it down. First one of the game going to Gambit. Bit of gold back their way, but he's closing in on a 10,000 gold lead here for SK. That is not going to be easy to come back from. We saw there Darien in the middle of the fight really had little to no impact, was pretty much locked up and killed off.
Yeah, and was left alone, of course, because he joined in when Diamond was already dead. The rest of the team were running away, so couldn't really do anything other than try and cancel the teleport and avoid giving up another kill for SK. But at least good job by Genja. Picked up some farm in mid, moved top lane, took some more farm, and then also took the tower, which of course is something they needed. Now Diamond is in trouble.
Diamond getting caught out completely in this one, and now they're on towards Darien. Flay comes in, wild growth quite late, but that may just keep Darien alive from this. He flashes a little bit deeper. Will SK keep chasing? That's a good 90 caliber net out of Genja to slow them down. Actually going to throw the ace in the hole through as well, which didn't really do all that much in the end. However, Candy Panda's low. He needs to life steal back up a little here.
Jesiz joining in with the team. They should be able to pick up this tower here for SK Gaming. I like the fact they don't even think about Baron. They just want to get these towers there. They want to look for fights as well. And because Gambit keeps going into the fights, they can get a kill, get a tower, and then back away. So we might see them soon start setting up a Baron here. Maybe try and bait Gambit to move out as a team, get the team fight they want. Or they can just say, you know what, we don't care. We can just keep doing what we're doing now.
And why not? He's definitely working for them. That 10,000 gold lead is there as Edward going to come straight through. This is real bad news for him. Ball is on top of Svenskeren. They won't even need it. Jesiz is able to finish off that one. That leaves them at 5v4. Now Baron a real possibility.
Yes, when with the Baron bait here, Edward was moving up to try and ward to see if SK actually started the Baron. They're just waiting for him. Picked up another kill. Now going in towards the mid lane here. And Darien almost face checking.
Well, went in there, got hit by the Q out releasing, got a shield from his teammate Nick on Lulu though. Well, SK are quite happy to sit in this position, knowing that Gambit are going to have to commit to something at some point here as the blue is stolen away. There's a shockwave coming on towards Darien. He actually managed to get the counter-strike off onto one, but not enough. Jesiz getting himself another.
This should be the Baron, at least start up the Baron here, see if they can get another kill, because Diamond wants to try and stop them. Maybe the rest of Gambit want to join in here. Let's see what they try to do. They have a lot of wards around here, should be able to spot everyone from Gambit moving in.
How are they going to get even close? nRated will catch the ace in the hole. Nick actually moving in from the side. The Baron down to less than 1,000. It is going to go up to SK Diamond. Going to be taken down. And now Nick in all kinds of trouble himself. The Cologne doing most of the damage already. But here's Lulu able to speed himself up. But Jesiz now moving around the side. He's got no shockwave to work with here. So Edward may still be able to get away. The Q from Svenskeren not quite got the range either. But they've got a free range maybe on this middle inhibitor turret. They're trying to keep Edward from actually going back, but that turret's going to be theirs.
should at least be able to get a lot of damage. Or no, they will get it for sure. You're 100% correct, Joe Miller. Should also be able to go in towards the inhibitor because Diamond is still dead. And then just back away. They should have a lot of gold at this time.
Load of gold to spend. If you look those kills now, oh yeah.
3,000 gold on Jesiz, 2,600 on to Freddy here. Still want to go for this bot lane because the minions are there.
Minions are there, so why not push it? The hook even landing on towards Edward. Shockwave comes in, and Svenskeren gets himself another one. Actually kicking Genja away. Genja flashed behind him so that he wouldn't get caught up in that one. Darien in the middle of the team will get wild growth just as he jumps away from them. Not ideal here from Gambit. Nick falling low. They spotted off Diamond on the top side. He'll be chased out as they kill off Nick. They can't really even get back to their own base here. They're going to lose a second in him.
Losing the second inhibitor. They might even look to try and finish for SK Gaming. 2 members are dead now for Gambit, and they got the Baron buff to heal up.
Baron buff regenning them constantly. Darien comes flying out. He's going to get a decent counter-strike off, but that's all because he goes down straight after. Svenskeren getting another kill. 8-2-9 for Svenskeren here as we see the first Nexus turret go down. Diamond's on the top side trying to hold them off, or is he really trying to hold them off? Probably trying not to die at this point. Edward's still inside of the base, but SK Gaming gonna do it in one swift move, go straight on towards the Nexus and win the game in 30 minutes.
Once again, SK Gaming, they show if they get a lead early on, they know exactly what to do. Not taking any chance, just kept punishing Gambit over and over, picked up the Baron later on, and took the finish in 30 minutes. SK Gaming, they know how to play League of Legends.
That was pretty clinically done from SK in the end. As you mentioned, they baited and pulled them in 2 or 3 times. The fight by the red buff being one of them. They thought they'd caught Svenskeren, and rightly so. I think all 5 of them were pretty much all 4 of them because Darien came a little bit after with the TP. They thought they caught out Svenskeren, but the rest of the team from SK just piling on in. Freddy TPing down. Then Gambit move away. They actually leave Darien's TP to all alone, and he goes down as well afterwards. Even alter, the area around Baron, they kept throwing him in one by one until they felt they got that numbers advantage to start it off. Draw. Gambit